What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the G Perspective. I am your host, George Michael Perez, aka GMike. You already know what it is. Yes, the quality of the webcam is looking better because I upgraded to the 4K. It's going to be looking nice for the rest of the episodes from here on out. I'm excited for it because, man, you look good, you feel good. You know what I'm saying? But I brought on a new guest this episode. His name is Andrew Charles. I call him Drew. We used to work together back in the day. Big time Orlando Magic's fan, so we get into that. And we get into the Deshaun Watson suspension of only 6 games. So I hope you guys enjoy it just like I did. And I hope you guys subscribe and follow me on the social media, Twitter at George Mike Perez, IG, TikTok, and YouTube at GMike Media _. And the audio version of the podcast is under the G Perspective on all podcast platforms. Hope you guys enjoy this one like I did. Let's get it. Andrew Charles, what up, my man? How you doing?
Good. What's going on, sir?
Good, man. Working hard over here. Living life.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, man. So, guys, this is Andrew Charles. Used to work with him back in the day. Both bartenders making a lot of money. A lot of people came to visit us and gave us tips. But I know him as Drew. So the whole show, I'm going to be calling him Drew. But Drew, man, I know you're a big-time Orlando Magic fan, and I'm a big-time Heat fan. We used to have those rivalry talks all the time. We're going to get more into that later. But right now, the big thing that's going on in sports, man, that the other day I was watching First Take, and they literally spoke for 2 hours on the Deshaun Watson suspension. Before we get into it, man, I want to know your thoughts on it, man, because I know there's 2 different sides of the spectrum for people, and that's okay. Everybody has their own opinion and stuff. But for you, I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Man, I kind of feel like there's probably got to be something there. I know, like, with the little things, whether it's just he really did something wrong or he's just inappropriate, it's got to be, there's got to be something there. So I feel like the NFL had to look at it like, hey, man, you represent us, even if it's not fully sexual harassment or whatever it might be. I have no idea. But you are being inappropriate. We kind of got to do something about it because you're representing our brand and whatnot. So I kind of get it. I just think, the NFL is all over the place. You see something for one thing and it's like, oh, that was 4 games, or something for something like this, like, oh, that's 6 games. And you're like, it seems to be no real standard. And I think that's something they really got to work on, because it makes it hard to look at it and be like, yo, why was that, or why is this, or, and those kind of things. So I get it, but at the same time, like, I feel like they probably need to work on some things to make it a little more, I guess, understanding like why that was the punishment versus something else.
No, yeah, you bring up a good point, because I'll bring up, for example, Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon, if people follow the NFL and they follow the Cleveland Browns, we'll say, because that's where he got the suspensions from with that team. He was just basically smoking marijuana, and they suspended him for like a year, and then he came back and basically did the same thing, and they suspended him for like another year. And it's like, when you compare the two, you got someone who's smoking trees and basically just trying to relax at home or whatever what he does, and he goes to the field and practices hard and puts all his efforts. And then you got another guy. We'll assume that it's true that he's sexually harassing these massage therapists, and he's doing all these things, and the NFL wants to protect the shield, and they want to protect their fans and the organization, the community, and they're only giving him a 6-game suspension. Like, what you say is true. Like, they don't have a standard for what's going on, and it's insane.
Like, I think his was equivalent to like Ezekiel Elliott's, who's like 1 woman versus 24, 25, whatever it is. I don't know what Ben's was, but I think it was somewhere around the same thing. But then like Brady's got like deflating balls. You're like, yeah, that can't be in the same category. Yeah, like it's only was like 2 games more or something like that. Like, you're like, my boy from Atlanta, he got the whole season, and I get that's gambling, and so like you're playing with like the integrity of the NFL, but still, it was like $1,500 on like some parlays or something like that, and it's like, yo, you're
Mhm.
out for the season. Like, this seems a lot bigger than that. So I don't know. It seems a little off balance, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Yeah, no, and going off of what you just said, it's saying that it's off balance. So they give him a 6 game suspension, right? And we'll talk on both sides of the argument. So let's say he did do it. We'll assume he did do it. Is 6 games enough for the NFL to give him, or should there be more? Should there be less? What do you think?
I mean, I feel like I know like the NFL I think wanted more, but they go through this new process now. But even from what I was hearing, like the not 100% sure on her name, Roberts,
Yeah,
whatever her name. Um, like she made it seem like, hey, no, he messed up. This is wrong. Like everything about it seemed like it was going to be pretty hard, and then she was just like, yeah, 6 games, and you're like, oh well, you you seem like you were fully on board with like the NFL, and then went under what they suggested. So that was kind of strange. I feel like I guess it's kind of like in a weird spot because you're like, assuming that he did it, man. Then I feel like there's probably more criminal charges, but
yeah, true.
um, if he didn't do it, then it's like, well, should there have been anything? I mean, if it's just misconduct, then maybe 6 games is the right, I guess, like the right punishment versus like if there was actually more, in the realm of like sexual harassment or even as far as like sexual abuse, and it's like, all right, hey, something much bigger needs to be done than just like a little 6 game suspension. So
Yeah, and we will never know the truth, I guess, and the way that the system is played out for us in the United States is just what you can prove, right? So basically, the only people that really know what happened is those 24, 25 women and himself. What really is going on in those massage therapy rooms, and it's hard to really have an opinion on this when you don't have all the facts put out in front of you. But if he did do it, the guy is a douchebag, and he should be suspended more games and maybe even lose his job. But I'm not the one to say. And if he didn't do it, then you're giving a guy suspension just because of people are coming out word of mouth. So it's a tough situation, man. I think that no matter what, even like people are gonna be like, "Oh, the games are too much," or "the games are too less." And there's always gonna be two sides of the argument that no one's gonna be happy about until this man retires, until he gets out of the league, and even years after that. So it's gonna be a tough situation for sure.
yeah, I feel like I mean, when you have that many women, and it seems more like it was like a like predatory sounds maybe a little strong, but like he was going after like, hey, I'm gonna get this massage therapist, and I'm regardless of what she can do because I have like I have a goal in mind of what I'm trying to do versus like, no, I'm just looking for a massage therapist, and oh man, maybe I'll try this too. Like it seemed like there was definitely a plan when he was going after these. So I feel like that in itself probably warrants something. Just if it's just based off that, like you're kind of using your power and position to just try to like prey on these people who are just trying to make an honest living, to be honest. And so
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably in itself deserves something, but then you really got to look into it and see if it's more than that to see like how much further does this go.
No, especially that the NFL is trying to increase their female fan base because obviously from now 2022 to we'll say the beginning 2000s, it hasn't been the same. I'm sure the percentages have gone up. I haven't seen the facts on that, but just assuming that the percentages have gone up on the female fan base, you want to show the women that you care for them. And if you got a player that is going through these lawsuits, and then in the middle of the lawsuit, well, towards the end of the lawsuit, he gets paid as the most highest paid quarterback in the league. How do you think that the females, the women, are looking at this situation after he gets this big time contract?
Yeah, I feel like that's got to be like a you know, to speak for all women is kind of crazy for me, but like for those 24, 25 women to be like, hey, we brought this to you, and now you just gave this man a huge contract. That's definitely a slap in the face. And
Mhm.
so like I don't know. I feel like they definitely want to see something done, regardless of their settlements and things like that. Like it just uh, they go through more than what that money I guess would pay off or whatever. But I think like regular people see it too and just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you did something, but he's still going to be great on the other end. And it's not really, I guess, like the punishment isn't indicative of what the crime might be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we got our opinions off for sure, but that's just the last thing because I heard and I read a couple articles that the NFL, when it came to this particular situation, just because of what has happened before with Ray Rice, Ezekiel Elliott, Ben Roethlisberger, so on and so on, that they were going to take a step back in this case and let the federal government actually deal with it. Do you think that was a smart move on their part, or you think that they should be more involved in the case just because it has to do with one of their star athletes in the league?
I feel like if there is a crime that's been committed, you got to let the criminal justice system kind of do its thing, because like there's got to be more than just game suspensions or even being like kicked out of the league for a crime. It's like if you or I commit a crime, we don't just lose our jobs or we don't just get a suspension. Like we got to face the courts and jail time and those kind of things. And I don't think he should get a pass on that either. Um, so if they do find that there's actual like a criminal investigation that needs to be looked into, I think the NFL definitely has to let the courts do their thing and kind of investigate that and take whatever that they find.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. You took the words right out of my mouth. It's just, there shouldn't be a pass for anybody. No matter if you're LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players in the world that everybody sees day to day, and then compare it to a janitor in an elementary school. I don't think that no one should be safe from this, and especially a situation like this that you're out here allegedly out here harassing 24 to 25 women in a space that these women think that they're just doing their job, and you're out here trying to be a predator, a strong word for sure, but a predator in that case. So I mean, hopefully he did not do it. Hopefully it's just all a money grab scheme from these women, because if it's really true, this guy, man, he needs to face some charges for sure. He needs to be out of the league because it's not good for the league, it's not good for us as fans, and it's not good for the world to see that on display and then someone get rewarded a big time contract after doing these allegations. So
For sure.
yeah. Yeah, man. But just switching it to a more upbeat, because that's pretty tough. It's pretty tough situation to talk about. But hey, man, your Orlando Magic, bro. Hey, good upcoming season. I would say, in my opinion, just because of the first draft pick that they got in Pablo Banchero. How you feeling about your Magic this season, man?
I feel like it's definitely on an upswing. I'm not gonna get crazy and tell you, we finals or anything like that. But I mean, definitely think they're making the push in the right direction. You got a very young squad that's doing big things, and I think with a little bit of time, they're going to get more comfortable, and you could see like I don't think it's a stretch to say that like in a year or two they're going to be like the new Atlanta or one of these teams that you just like up and coming teams that just are based around like a little star and starting to do their thing. Like I would like to see that happen and us kind of go that direction, and I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is going upward from here. I don't think that it's gonna trend down anytime soon, just because of Bankero. We'll go back to him, but you guys got Cole Anthony. He's a great point guard in my opinion. He knows how to read the floor. He comes with tenacity and intensity every single game from what I see. And then you got other young bucks too. You got Jalen Suggs, even though last year was a injury year for him, um, in a sense. And you guys got some young players for sure. And I think the coach, he really brings some good energy too, and some intelligence. So I think you guys are going uphill. It's gonna be tough for you guys, in my opinion, to make the playoffs, but just sticking with Pablo Banchero, what do you like out of the kid? What do you think that he's gonna bring to the table for you guys?
I mean, he's a good sized guy. Like he moves well for his size. He seems to really like fit into like the NBA role. Like I feel like he's gonna have less trouble, adjusting just because of his size and the way he plays and things like that. Like it's like, oh man, this is like a man playing against other men versus like some of these other guys. When they get in, it's like, oh wow, I'm with like pros now, and this is a little different. Like he seems to be like finding his groove and really handling himself. I mean, you looked at like the summer league, and he only had the 2 games, but I think that was more of a like, yeah, we saw what we needed to see, and he seems fine. We're not really worried about it. Let's get him out of there and kind of keep him safe from like potential injury versus just like, oh yeah, no, I don't know if he's ready yet. We don't want him to play. Like it definitely seemed like the opposite. So I think he's going to fit well. I think he's got some pieces around him. So I think it should be good. Like you said, I don't know if we're a playoff team, but I definitely think we could be fighting for like that play-in spot type of thing.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys can fight for the play-in spot. And just going off of what you said about Pablo, I think the same thing. I think he's the most NBA ready prospect out of this draft, and I think that's why Magic went with him first, because they were supposed to go with if I'm not mistaking his name, Smith. I forgot his first
Jabari.
name. Jabari Smith. Yes, thank you. Jabari Smith. They were supposed to go with him first, but I'm pretty sure right a few hours before they were looking at Pablo, and they're like, "Oh, this guy is 6'10". He knows how to post. His game is familiarized with, I would say, Jason Tatum, Anthony Davis, maybe a little Kevin Durant from the arc, and because of his size, but." I agree. I think he's the most NBA ready prospect. Now, in saying that, let's say he has a good year, right? Or even great year and he gets rookie of the year. There's going to be some moves that the Magic are going to have to make in order to keep improving their team. So, would you want to build around him only, or would you include some other pieces to build around with him?
I mean, it's kind of tough because it's like you you look at like you hear like someone like Donovan Mitchell or something like that, and it's like, oh man, if you got a chance at Donovan Mitchell, you got to kind of take it. But at the same time, I feel like you have a plan, and when you do something like that, you kind of throw out the plan. You got to restructure everything around that because you saw an opportunity. And I feel like with what we have, it's a young squad. You can kind of stick to the plan and kind of see what happens. See if you can build something from the draft. And I feel like a lot of times uh, you can make that happen. There's teams that are like built around what they've drafted and things like that versus just trying to go out and get a superstar. Orlando's not a hot spot, destination for a lot of these players. So to put your eggs in that basket, thinking that you could package something up with, a few players and try to go after somebody like that, I think it's probably a little bit of a stretch. It's I think Rashard Lewis is probably the last like big name that we really were able to pull, and that was 2009 or 2008, something way back then. So you're talking a long time ago. They really haven't been able to sign anybody or bring them in that's been at that caliber level. Vucevic was a trade with Dwight Howard. A lot of these other players are just they traded in and did well versus just bringing in like a hot guy like that. So I think your best bet is just try to build around it. You got Fultz when he's healthy, the team is better. I know the last little stretch of the season when he was playing, even on his 20 minutes, um, he looked good. He made the team better. Wagner is doing great. He was first team all rookie last year. Um, so he's putting up stats. I saw something where like when he shoots 15, when he takes like 15 attempts, his numbers skyrocket, like almost like 23 points a game and whatnot. So if you can get somebody like that that's a little bit more comfortable shooting and kind of doing his thing, like you said with Paulo, just kind of getting more comfortable and playing and doing his thing. You could have two potential guys that are legit scorers, and I think that's really what they need. I don't know if anybody was up over 18 points a game last year. So if you could find a couple guys that could like really start providing some offense on like a night in night out basis, I think you'd be all right with just kind of growing the team from where it's at.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. You obviously know Magic basketball, so that's good. You're a good fan. So just off of that, I know that they're trying to sell the team. I know it's like a rumor that's going around and stuff, and I've heard that one of the rumors was trying to get Shaq to buy the team. Let's say that Shaq does buy the team. Do you think that would help improve the whole roster, front office, organization, or you think that it would be more of a downhill?
I mean, I don't see how Shaq could hurt. Um, I would assume, he would probably be like some kind of minority owner, but it's still attaching like a big name face and a big name in basketball to the team, which I think would probably, I don't see how that could hurt. Um, but I don't. Does it help you bring more people in? I don't know. Maybe a guy here or there, but I just think a lot of teams, a lot of these guys are looking for ready-made teams or big markets. If I'm not winning, I want my bag, and it's not always Orlando's not always that spot. Even if your salary's good, what you can do in that city and what that city brings to the table, I think really plays a role. That's why people like the Miami's, the New Yorks, the LA's, the Chicago's, those kind of things. So I don't know. I think right now the best bet is to just kind of grow from within. If something crazy pops off and Kevin Durant's knocking at your door saying, "Hey, what can you do for me?" I think, but the likelihood of that happening and whatnot, like I think you got to plan, stick with it. It looks like it's definitely moving in the right direction, and see what happens. We might find out in 3 years that he was a bust and you got to restart all over or something like that. But for right now, it looks good. So don't mess up what seems like a good thing.
No, it definitely does look good, and with that young team, they come to play. They play hard. They didn't want the record that they had last year, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna improve. They're gonna work all summer and try to get that up there 100%. And we're both on the same boat. That I think they will fight for a play-in tournament. They gotta really come at every single team in the East this year to try to get that spot. But let's say before the trade deadline, from now to the trade deadline is, and the last thing before we get out of here, is there any moves that you think that the Magic should make in order to try to get over that hump, try to make the seventh spot, sixth spot, fifth spot this season right now to make that move?
Um, I mean, I don't have any names off the top of my head that I could think of, but I definitely think with the young roster that we have, a lot of these guys are still on like rookie contracts. I think something like the top six are like under like 24 years old, 23 years old. Like you're talking about a really young squad. So I think there's some cap space. I would rather see if you could sign like a kind of like a mid-tier like veteran that can kind of maybe just mold these guys a little bit better. Like I said, I can't think of a name off the top of my head, especially that's available for something like that. But if you could get somebody that's just like, hey, look, this guy's an 18, 5-5 veteran, and he's going to add, some of that wisdom to the team that that it lacks due to the age and stuff like that. I think that would probably be something a little bit more exciting, or I guess like better for the team. And I think they could probably use something like that because I can't think of who it was right now, but they were like the veteran on the team. You're looking at like Terrence Ross or somebody like that, and I think probably somebody a little bit bigger than that, but after that, I think it falls down to like 26, 27 years old. Like you're not talking about real like a lot of experience. Maybe find somebody with a little playoff experience and stuff like that, and help a lot of these kids kind of mold into where they want to be.
No, yeah, definitely. They do need at least like two, I would say 2 or 3 veterans out there that they can show them the ropes and show them how to win high intensity games, especially coming down in the fourth quarter that you're down by 3 points or maybe with like 20 seconds left and stuff like that. Like that, that's more of a mental game than a physical game at that point because you gotta lock in. You gotta stay focused and try to win the game, try to beat your opponent because your opponent's gonna be on a tier. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that they should bring in a veteran that come and teach them the ropes. Maybe even 2, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. You guys are for sure on the climb, 100%. We could agree on that.
I'm excited. I think excited to start watching some of these games. I mean, you gotta scour the internet to ever find them because we don't get a lot of TV time. But when I get some times and I find it, I definitely want to watch some of these games and really like see what these guys are putting together. And I'm excited. I think it'll be fun to watch. I think they're like towards the end of the season, they became like a fun team to watch, and I think it's just going to continue. This should be good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm up here in Orlando, man. So if you want to come up here and watch a game, let me know. We'll go to a Magic Heat game. You already know.
Never actually Amway.
Oh no.
Uh, when I was there, it was the other arena, and I did that one a couple of times. I forget what it was called. Or maybe that was Amway. Is it still called Amway now?
Yeah, it's still called Amway now. I
I,
just,
I, I forget what it was called, but I went to that one. But when they built the new one, I've never been to it yet.
yeah, it's nice. I drive past it probably almost every day, and it's nice outside for sure. It looks legit. I just never been inside.
And the area is nice. Like it's just like a cool place to hang out and things like that. So
Yeah, yeah, facts, facts. Well, Drew, hey, I appreciate you, man. Real quick before we get out of here, let the fans know where they can follow me at. Guys, you can follow me on Twitter at George Mike Perez, IG, TikTok, YouTube at GMike Media _, and then the podcast audio version itself is under the G Perspective on all podcast platforms. Drew, I appreciate your time, man, and I thank you for sure. I'm gonna have you on again during the season so we can see where the Magic are at.
all right, man, I appreciate it. I had a good end of the lap.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.